top 3 most creepy and astonishing ghost photos that were captured during paranormal investigations that I helped lead this past year in 2025. And there's been quite a few that I helped lead in Texas and New York and even here in Los Angeles. Now, before those investigations occur, I always encourage those who participate to take as many photos as they can, along with video footage, because you never know. Once in a while, we do capture something that we fully can't explain. So let's rip this haunted Band-Aid and let's look at the first one. Coming in as the top contender. Now, this picture was taken the first night of our paranormal investigation of Old Town Spring during the Dinner with the Dead event in the former home goods store of Fads. Now, this picture was taken by my paranormal bestie, Roberto. Robert, you know who you are. Now, a bit of the background of the history and the haunted history of Fads is that Fads used to be a group of Sears Craftsman homes that were relocated in the early 1900s in Old Town Spring. You see, there was a husband and wife that used to live in one of the homes, and it is said that the husband had unalived his wife, and it is said that it is her spirit that is connected to those Craftsman homes. And then obviously, number 2, an oldie but a goodie. In December of 2025, I led a public investigation over at the Memory Park by the San Fernando Mission, and surrounding legends that pretty much covered this entire property was that of the woman in white. This was taken around 10:15 at night. I had sent a group further out into this location to start taking photos. Now, many people said that it was Photoshop, which, I mean, for all of us who were there, we saw this group taking photos, especially the gentleman that took this photo in real time. Like, if you have Photoshop on your phone, you know how long it takes just to open the app, log in, and start putting in those layers. It's a pain. Now, he showed me his phone. He showed me the apps on his phone, nothing out of the ordinary, but I thought that it was a really, really good catch. This one is interesting. This one was captured in Lilydale. This was captured by our friend, the haunted therapist. I'm going to tag her down below. This was an investigation that was led also by Tawny Lewis. We were in the woods and we were told of certain activity in this woods. There are also elementals. Now, we were here by the inspiration stump. I promise you that whatever or whoever this is was definitely not a part of the group. Looks like there's like 3 faces, like 1, 2, and 3. It looks very disturbing. But these photos were genuinely taken, and these were images that were captured. So let me know in the comments if you captured anything strange and unusual during your paranormal investigations, and always remember to stay haunted.
Lewis and Clark were using Sacagawea as an interpreter with the native people as they ventured into the Wild West. And before they got to the Rocky Mountains, they realized, oh my gosh, we're going to need horses to be able to survive this thing. So they were trying to negotiate with the chief of the tribe of the one that was closest to them. And as Sacagawea is interpreting, she breaks down hysterically, crying because she realizes that she's talking to her long-lost brother, who told her that she was abducted as a kid to be a slave by one of the neighboring tribes. And I was just, as I found that story out, I was like, what is this poor girl not gone through? Like, anyways, this is my driver, and you can learn more about it at the Lewis and Clark diary. I don't know, I'm just probably online, but this is my Radmore fit. If you like it, you can shop their page and we can twin. Trying to get this to go high in the sky, but I also can't tell where it's going because the golf ball is the same color as these clouds.
Hey everybody, it's Palm Beach Pete. Where am I now? I'm in LA. Vegas to LA, shooting some content. Back to Vegas, more content. Keep it real, stay alive, be happy.
Every day, we're pointed more evidence towards Palm Beach Pete being Jeffrey Epstein. He keeps giving us clues, which are pretty obvious clues because they're right out there in plain sight. And everybody knows that this guy actually is Epstein. Like, no one's fooled by him, and they just think it's funny at this point. But it's not really funny. And, you know, Jeffrey Epstein had his own private jet as well, called the Lolita Express. And you do not want to know what they did with his plane, because most private jets do not have a ladder in the back where, like, you could throw bodies out of. You know, like you see Air Force One, you see Trump walking up. It's always from the side. Not a lot of planes have this. This was custom built so that Jeffrey Epstein and his friends could dump bodies out in the Pacific Ocean. So, and no one would ever find those bodies, too. If they're in the middle of the ocean, no one's going to find that. But if you had it on the side, that'd be a lot more difficult to do because of, like, air pressure and stuff. It'd, like, suck everything out. But this is a nice, easy opening. Like, you know, when people go skydiving, it's always with a plane that has a back opening because something with like the flow of air, it makes it much easier to just jump out that way. So yeah, hidden in plain sight right here.
Today, the internet has been sent into a frenzy over this headline. The bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson. Now, this article from Daily Mail has received over 14 million views in under 10 hours and has sparked hundreds of posts suggesting that conspiracy theorists were right again and that Tyler Robinson is not the shooter. But it's not that simple. Let's start with the part that is true. A recent analysis from the ATF, an official law enforcement agency, could not conclusively connect a bullet fragment recovered during an autopsy to the rifle found near the scene. And now, because of this, the defense for Tyler Robinson is arguing in court that they need to delay the preliminary hearing because they may now want to use this finding along with others for his defense. Now, here's why this headline could be misleading. The main thing is that an inconclusive result literally means there's not enough information to say yes or no. Anything else is presenting uncertainty as proof. Not to mention that inconclusive ballistic results are not that uncommon. One study, for example, by Forensic Science International found that their examiners had inconclusive results in about 20% of casework calls. That's about 1 in 5. And the reason it is so tricky to determine is because experts are looking for these microscopic markings that are left on a bullet as it passes through the gun's barrel. And these tiny scratches are like fingerprints in that no two guns have identical markings. But when the bullet is damaged and fragmented into so many tiny pieces, it's sometimes impossible to conclusively match these markings with its original gun. And that's what seems to be happening here. Now, what that means for this trial is that Tyler's defense may try and use this inconclusive result to clear him of blame, while the prosecution will aim to demonstrate that they have other evidence against him, like alleged text, DNA, etc. But the question is, what do you guys think about?
I'm not into all the woo-woo, but I'm a little mystical, right? So apparently the Earth has a chakra system and all of these locations are supposed to be sacred portals. I'm curious if any of them lead to Agartha or the center Earth. Just kidding. Maybe. Anyways, this is my driver, and I'm allowed to have fun on this channel. Let me live. Let me live. Here we go. Straight to Agartha.
The informant became convinced that Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. This is one of the most shocking documents in all of the Epstein files. This is a FBI report tip sheet. And what's interesting about this is this doesn't come from an unverified random source. The person who's providing this information to the FBI is called a confidential human source, or a CHS, which is the new term for an informant. Basically like a person that would go undercover with the mafia to bust the mob, or someone that would go undercover with the cartel to bust Pablo Escobar. That's what a CHS was, or is, I should say. And this confidential informant figured some things out about Epstein that are pretty shocking, which makes this entire thing all the more credible because it isn't a random person. This is a source that the FBI has worked with for a long time, that they trust, that they have specifically planted in this world to gather information. So this comes in 2020. Let me just read you this paragraph. Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz has been linked to Epstein many times. CHS, the informant, learned that Dershowitz influenced many students from wealthy families. For example, Josh Kushner and Jared Kushner were both his students. Obviously, we know Jared Kushner, married to Ivanka Trump, integral in the Trump administration. Dershowitz told CHS, the informant, that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence Mossad agent. The confidential informant believed Dershowitz was co-opted by Mossad and subscribed to their mission. CHS, the informant, still continues to communicate occasionally for Dershowitz. And then it says, see previous reporting, but I couldn't find any previous reporting from this person or on this topic. But then we got Epstein. Epstein was represented by Dershowitz. The informant remembered Dershowitz tell Alex Acosta, U.S. Attorney of Southern District of Florida at the time, that Epstein belonged to both U.S. and allied intelligence services. That is very important. CHS shared phone calls between Dershowitz and Epstein, during which she took notes. So this confidential informant listened to phone calls between Alan Dershowitz and Jeffrey Epstein, listened in on their calls, tapped their phone, and took notes. After these calls, Mossad, which is the Israeli CIA, would then call Alan Dershowitz to debrief. Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy under him. Barak believed Netanyahu was a criminal. Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the UAE are allied against Qatar, Turkey, Iran, and Syria. One of CHS, the informants, Blank, who presumably worked Blank, asked CHS a lot of questions about Epstein. The informant became convinced that Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. So here we have allegations in writing from a confidential informant for the FBI that Jeffrey Epstein and others were working for foreign and domestic intelligence services. It is right there in the files, but nobody is talking about this. And this isn't from a random person, it's from a confidential informant. But why don't you let me know your thoughts on it?
Everyone's been complaining about gas prices, but have you been paying attention to your mileage? This man was driving through his neighborhood when he noticed something and was then able to catch it on camera. Because as he was driving, he was noticing that his gas mileage was dropping significantly, starting at around 352 miles per gallon left. As he's driving between 15 to 30 miles per hour through his neighborhood, was steadily watching this go down. This man was only driving a few yards and was losing miles from his gas tank, questioning if he had filled up with gas that was actually water. As having only driven a few blocks, his gas tank looked as if he had already driven over 10 miles. Looking just in the span of less than 1 minute, he went from 352 miles per gallon, ending the video with only 348 miles left, meaning he burned the gas that he should have burned driving 4 miles in less than 2 city blocks. What is this exactly that would cause the gas mileage to literally plummet when you are driving a slow and steady speed through a neighborhood? I was always under the belief that if you got watered down gas and your engine would sputter and make noises as if it wasn't getting that consistent gas flow, this car was driving steady with no issues, except that this car was burning through the kind of fuel traveling feet that it should have been burning traveling.
So if you thought that we have crazy things that we do for beauty in this era, let's talk about the Victorian era. Yeah, this was the tapeworm diet. Much like the 90s and early 2000s, and even kind of now, the beauty standard was extremely thin. And I mean 16-inch waist, extremely freaking thin. So they would willingly ingest tapeworms in their baby state and their larvae state until they would grow full, which would be 30 inches long. I'm talking about 30 inches freaking long. Okay. At that point, they would then, because it's an adult, want to get it out of them and then ingest another tapeworm. This was a fad diet. And if it didn't come out in the nasty, egregious ways that you would remove a tapeworm, can't get into that because I don't want my video taken down. They would put this bait hook down into their throat all the way into their intestine. And the doctor would just kind of poke it up and down with bait on it. So the tapeworm would try to eat it and then they just pull pull it out of their throat. Oftentimes that didn't work because obviously the person would choke and die. So yeah, that's honestly, super horrible way to die, but also a really dumb way to die. What? But then again, this is the Victorian era where they used to brush their teeth with human feces imported overseas and also not use latrines correctly. They threw their poop out the window. I mean, not really a very incredible time for hygiene or sanitary reasons. Anyway, as always, make sure you like and follow. Comment down below if you like to hyperfixate on things in the middle of the night like I do. If you do, you're gonna love it here.
Netanyahu, it is confirmed he's alive. The whole thing was weird. People were like, he's dead, he's gone. And then these videos started popping up where they're like, oh, look, he's talking and there's 6 fingers. It's clearly AI. And he was in the coffee shop. People were picking apart that.
His teeth were weird. The date was off on the back screen. Yeah. I saw it. I'm like, this doesn't seem like a normal video at all.
And then he had the thing where he's walking with Huckabee and he's like, I'm alive. I'm here with all 5 fingers. And he's like, here's my punch card. I'm getting the names off, and you're like, this is so weird.
Yeah, they're playing into it almost.
Whoever is doing this whole thing, they know that you're going to watch these videos and try to pick them apart.
Why?
What's happening?
What's the purpose behind
Justin,
it?
what's happening?
Antichrist.
Probably.
We haven't had a year, I don't think, that has just felt so doomy.
I mean, just a great reset, a AI takeover.
And it is one of those sci-fi movies from the 80s where it's very dystopian.
Did you see that new movie with Chris Pratt? The AI courtroom?
I didn't see it. I heard it got terrible reviews, but the concept of it is not far off.
AI versus Sasquatch. Who's going on top?
Dude, Sasquatch, he's got...
Not Elon Musk shutting Erica Kirk down all over the Drewski skit where he impersonated a lot of Erica Kirk's famous moments. For press interviews, Erica's mini podcast interviews, complete with the Holy Bible, absolutely terrifying crazy-eyed stare. I say Drewski absolutely nailed. She has since taken to social media demanding that the video be taken down, alleging that it was AI and that he
he should have been able to take this down immediately. It's clearly not AI, it is a comedian who is dressing up and impersonating her in a funny way. G then tagged Elon Musk himself and said it's racked over 150 million views. It's humiliating, it's mocking me, turning me into a global joke. Really proving that she hasn't been seeing any of the videos people have been making about her, because even some of her biggest defenders are now questioning all of her motives since her husband's death. Elon Musk himself being one of those who simply told Erica Kirk he was not going to take any of the videos down. The video has 150 million views because people want to watch it. It supports free speech, comedy, parody, and content people choose to engage with. We are not removing lawful content just because it offends somebody. That is not how this platform works. Entire internet feud happening just a short time after Elon Musk himself reposted Erica Kirk's post where she told the world to go to church. But we shall see how far she takes this fight and how many views this video will get.
Holy fuck, chat. Palm Beach Pete was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Watch this.
Please say hello now to Palm Beach Pete, who is standing by. Hi, Pete. When did you first realize you were a doppelganger for Epstein?
It's been going on for a while, but it really went out of control when he got arrested and it was on the front page of every major magazine and newspaper.
Do people actually mistake you for him?
They give me the double look, but now that I've gone viral, Jimmy, it's nonstop. They want to take pictures of me, my autograph.
Can you prove you aren't Epstein? Do you have any wonderful secrets? Is there anything that you could say to convince us that you are not Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm totally not Jeffrey Epstein. He's dead.
You want people to know, even though there's a strong resemblance between you and you live where he lived, that you are not Jeffrey Epstein.
100%, Jimmy. I have nothing to do with him.
Jeffrey Epstein is not a name you answer to, have ever answered to, or plan on answering to in the future.
No, Palm Beach Pete, that's who I am.
If somebody were to come up to you and say, hey, look, it's Jeffrey Epstein, you would say, no, I am not.
I would say, yeah, dude, I've heard it a lot of times. I'm Palm Beach Pete, living my life.
Let's say Jeffrey Epstein was still alive and I were to point at him and then I were to point at you. Those fingers would be pointing in totally different directions, right?
No, I'm the better looking guy.
Yes, and your position is that Jeffrey Epstein is not, in fact, you.
Correct. I'm Beach Pete, living my life.
Would you be willing to play Jeffrey Epstein in a film, a movie, maybe even a Hallmark Christmas kind of thing?
I'm open to all opportunities if they're right.
So your stance is that Jeffrey Epstein is not me.
I am not he.
You are Palm Beach Pete, who is, in fact, an entirely different person than Jeffrey Epstein.
Correct, Jimmy.
So this was a Venn diagram. There's a circle here that is you, and there's a circle here that is Jeffrey Epstein. There's no overlap whatsoever between, because you are not Jeffrey Epstein.
That's correct. I am not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete.
Thank you for not being Jeffrey Epstein. But we have a gift for you that maybe you want to do something with and share with your fans. We made you a T-shirt, and I'm going to send this to you. It's for people who
love it.
Palm Beach Pete, but want nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. What do you think?
I love it. It's fantastic. You guys are the best.
Is it just me, or does something feel off?
When I tell people that I think sirens exist, they look at me like I'm crazy, and then I look at them like they're crazy because I'm like, how do you think that we're the only ones out? And don't y'all remember when Congress said that there's a presence in the ocean, but everyone glossed over it, just like when they said UFOs exist, and all the crazy people were looking at each other like, bro, we said this like a decade ago and none of y'all believed us. But yeah, I'm looking at them crazy because, bro, the ocean is absolutely crazy. I remember, I told y'all this already, but I'm going to say it again. I remember I was on a cruise and I went out to the tip of the boat, right? And this was like in the AMs because I've always thought the ocean was so interesting and I've always felt like sirens exist, but I did not have the ability to actually pinpoint like where they come from until I read the Book of Enoch, which I read as history, not scripture. But yeah, I was at the tip of the boat and y'all, when I looked out into those waters, the water, it was so much of it, and it was so dark, and it was so, like, daunting. I just felt like I did not belong there, bro. Like, do y'all know that feeling? Like, when someone's watching you, like, You can't prove that they're watching you, but they're watching you. That's how I felt. That's literally how I felt. And it gave me the skeevies so bad that I had to go inside, go into my cabin. I just think it's crazy that there's so many fishermen that their whole entire job is to go out into the sea. And so many of them have stories of seeing sirens, scuba divers going in and then seeing sirens. What about the ocean? What about this deep abyss makes people think that it's just jellyfish and crabs in there? Like, what makes you think that? We have phenomenons like the Bermuda Triangle, eddies. Eddies are large, extremely large black holes in the ocean that are the size of Texas, can go on for months and years, and scientists do not know where they go. No scientist has been able to like actually study where eddies go. Eels, like, and these are just animals, bro. Not even getting into sirens and stuff. Eels have no reproductive organs and all go to the Bermuda Triangle. Like, they go in mass multitudes to the Bermuda Triangle to reproduce, and then they come back in numbers. Like, they come back multiplied by 10. And no scientist, again, knows how they reproduce. Like, they've never seen it. But somehow there's more and more eels. Like, are they aliens at this point? What? The ocean is crazy. So you're telling me all of this happens and you don't think that there are sirens out there, bro? You don't think, like, we literally found out that there's a mega ocean under the ocean.
The FBI is now officially sending out a warning that criminals are now showing up to people's homes wearing real-looking badges and federal agent jackets. So this is obviously insane, but the FBI just issued a warning that criminals across the country are impersonating federal agents. And they're saying that they are getting disturbingly good at it.
Their badges are fake, but the danger is pretty real. The FBI asking for your help to stop some imposters who are posing as federal agents.
They're showing up at people's houses with realistic badges, wearing official-looking jackets, and in some cases spoofing real FBI phone numbers so it looks like the call is coming from the actual place.
And talk to the officer from Social Security Administration. I repeat, for more information, call us back.
They're saying that this is how one of the scams work. You'll get a call from someone claiming to be your bank, saying that there's suspicious activity on your account. And then they'll basically say that they need to transfer you to the FBI. The person that you're gonna get transferred to sounds professional, has a badge number, and pressures you to stay on the line. Dude, they will sometimes even switch up to video calls on Zoom or WhatsApp to make it look real. The FBI is currently saying that victims have been robbed, threatened, and manipulated into handing over personal information and money. Real agents will obviously show you a badge and photo, but how are you supposed to verify they're real if you ask? Because what if they're lying? And guys, an FBI agent is never gonna ask you for money or a gift card.
People are not scared enough of the ocean, and I'm here to fix that. Welcome back to another episode of Why I Stay on Land, where I give you some self-inflicted thalassophobia right before bed. I'm filming this in the day because I'm trying to go easy on y'all. Last time you got real spooked. To the girl that told me to look up how long Greenland sharks live, I got a bone to pick with you. They live for 500 years. Okay, maybe that doesn't creep you out, but did you guys know that there are hundreds of sea creatures that can see you, but you can't see them? They're literally completely transparent besides their eyes. Yeah. Did you know that there are things in the ocean that can see you, but you can't see it? Did you guys know that deep sea gigantism is real? There are isopods bigger than dogs. There are giant squids longer than buses. There are crab claws longer than a human torso. Look up, what was that called? The leatherback turtle? No turtle should be that big. So if the turtles and the crabs and the isopods and the squids are gigantic, what else is in there that's gigantic? Do I want to know? Megalodon, Kraken, I don't even want to know how big Larry the Lobster is in real life. Leviathan, I bring this up every time, but y'all can't tell me that the bloop didn't come from Leviathan. Okay, what about the metal clanging at the bottom of the ocean? Why is there metal clanging? What's down there? Oh, what if I were to tell you that Goo Lagoon from Bikini Bottom is like actually real? There are something called brine pools that are so toxic, if you touch it, you're dead. Divers call it the finger of death, something like that. There are places in the ocean where nothing can breathe. Like, they're called, I believe, marine dead zones. Fish, no oxygen, no escape. To be honest, I have such trust issues with the ocean that I'm a believer that there are things there. Like, even when there's no oxygen, there's something evolving there, and it's coming to get us. May not do too much, but this is
What if there was an archaeologist who discovered the blood of Jesus, but he took it to the wrong lab?
They said, Mr. Wyatt, this human blood only has 24 chromosomes in it. Everybody else has 46. You see, 23 from your mother, 23 from your father, 22 autosomes from your mother, 22 autosomes from your father. You get an X from your mother, you may get an X or a Y from your father, all right? This blood had 23 chromosomes from the mother's side, one Y chromosome only. You see, the child could not have developed if they hadn't had the autosomes from the mother. So all of his physical characteristics were determined by his mother's side of the family, her autosomes. His maleness was determined by this one Y that came from a source, not a human male. Then they said, this blood is alive. And then they said, whose blood is this? I said, it's the blood of your Messiah.
I went through a lot to find that video because it's been scrubbed from a lot of archives, and I find that weird if he's just another crazy scientist. Anyways, this is my driver, and I don't know, that's the most compelling piece of modern evidence that I've seen. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyways, let's smash it. Oh, I almost knocked it off the tee.
Beer looks harmless, just a cold drink with friends, but alcohol quietly destroys millions of lives every year. Ready to party? Beer isn't just barley and hops. The real active ingredient is ethanol, the same alcohol used in fuel and industrial chemicals. Killer! One can could carry over 200 empty calories, drink a few every night, and your body slowly pays the price. Beer gut incoming. Some lab tests have found traces of pesticides like glyphosate showing up in multiple popular beers. You don't care though, right? Alcohol rewires the brain's reward system, slowly turning a casual drink into something your body starts needing. I'm shaking, baby. Over time, drinking can damage the liver, increase cancer risk, and break down organs your body depends on. This doesn't sound so fun anymore. Many people hide it, drinking alone, telling everyone around them they're completely fine. But deep down inside, they are lost. Until one day the job is gone, the family leaves, and the only thing still waiting is the next drink.
You're already infected. Brain rot reels.
So back in 2016 in China, ride-sharing had just been introduced to the market, and as of that same year, there was a scam that started called the ghost face scam. Let's talk about it. So here's exactly what this ghost face scam was, and honestly, it was too simple, and so many people took advantage of it. So as you can see here, these are some pretty crazy demonic-looking faces. Now that's intentional because they edited all their faces to look crazy. Are you probably asking, why would they do this? Okay, the entire point of Uber is to get as many riders as possible. Well, these drivers wanted to exploit the cancellation policy. So through pretty minor scare tactics here, they would encourage the potential rider to cancel the ride based off of the faces here, and they would collect a small little fee for that. So hypothetically, they could go throughout the entire day without picking up one rider and still make some pretty good money. Now, I did see that China put out some warnings to riders, so this doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. However, I did see on a US subreddit that this may be happening in the US. However, I will say in the US, our tolerance for freaky-looking individuals is a little higher here in the US rather than China. I'd like to hear in the comments below what you guys think about this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
It is very obvious at this point that the media has been weaponized to promote cheating propaganda, whether that's through degenerate movies like Wuthering Heights and TV shows like Love Island, or explicit websites like OnlyFans, even memes that go viral and circulate on the internet. What all this does is it subconsciously normalizes cheating. Yes, everybody knows that it's wrong, but when you see it enough, you can justify it even though you know it's wrong. But the real target is the family structure. If they can get an entire generation so insecure about cheating and willing to be unfaithful to their partners, there will, number one, be less families, but number two, when there are families, they're not as firm in their beliefs and in their faith. The family structure is the single greatest defense that our society has against moral decline. They know that. So if they break it down, then they can compromise us all.
2026 has just gone crazier as squirrels are now officially vaping. Multiple videos have surfaced of squirrels around the world picking up vapes on the floor and using them like normal people. But experts are saying it's not because of the nicotine, it's because of the fruit flavors that are in these devices. But that still doesn't mean it's not harmful to them though. By using these devices, the squirrels can still inhale microplastics and the nicotine, which can get them addicted, as there are numerous reports of pets and animals that have died from inhaling the liquid from vapes. You shouldn't vape, but if you do, please don't litter them on the ground. You are literally killing the animals around you.
Did y'all see that demon hovering over Beverly Hills? Well, they say it was like some sort of cloud or dust cloud or something. I don't know what they even named it, but that was 100% a principality. You could not tell me different. It was so creepy. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And no, it's not AI. People were saying it was very real. Multiple people have seen it in the area, and others were like, yes, I saw it with my own eyes. This is not AI. That's why people were freaking out. Do you see that it even had legs? The way that it's moving, the spiritual realm has been truly unveiling before our eyes in this realm. Like, the veil has been lifting, and I don't know what has been the extra cause of it. If it's just the end times, is it CERN opening that portal? Is it the wickedness of sins, all of the above? I don't know, but this is getting out of hand. Even when I was in some parts of LA, before, I always felt certain regions being ruled by darkness, and I could feel it in my spirit in person, actually. So this is not surprising to see so vividly, even on camera or in real life. But baby, that is a high ranking demon, okay? A high ranking principality over that region. And it is showing you who it is and what it is in its natural form. Okay? Go to Jesus, praise Jesus, seek Jesus, because times are about to get crazier. We're about to see things way crazier than that.
I don't know how to feel about this because Harvard scientists recreated a 3D model of what Mary, the mother of Jesus, would look like. This person looks awfully familiar, and this is, and I quote, based on historical data from the 1st century Middle Eastern woman. I mean, it looks like Lady Gaga. It looks like Lady Gaga. Like, literally, compare this to this. I don't quite know how to feel about this. I think mainly because Lady Gaga's not Middle Eastern, but maybe Middle Eastern women look different in the 1st century. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. To the Harvard scientists who put this out, would you like to confirm or deny?
Scientists dropped a microphone to the deepest part in the ocean, and it picked up sounds that they can't even explain. So basically, NOAA sent a titanium-encased microphone down to the Challenger Deep, which is the absolute deepest point of the entire ocean at over 36,000 feet below the surface. That is almost 7 miles straight down in complete darkness. And they obviously figured that it would be completely silent down there because nothing should be making noise at that depth. Instead, they were able to record for 3 straight weeks nonstop. They were able to pick up earthquake noises that were rumbling through the ocean floor and whale calls echoing from miles above them, and also the ship propellers from boats on the surface that were thousands of feet overhead.
We were a little bit shocked because we did see a lot of other sounds. We saw ships. We saw marine mammals that were typically very near the surface.
But the part that actually freaked the scientists out is that some of the sounds that they picked up don't match anything on file. They're saying that there's low moans and high-pitched screeches that they've been analyzing since 2015, and they still can't identify what's making them. 7 miles down, screeching since 2015, and nobody knows what it is. Sweet dream.
I was today years old when I learned about the monster study, and honestly, I wish I never did. Well, in 1939, the University of Iowa decides, hey, let's just take a group of orphan children and psychologically torture them. Let's just do that. For funsies, for kicks and giggles. So basically, for the experiment, they have 2 controlled groups of children. One controlled group has a stutter, the other control group does not have a stutter. They want to test out whether or not they can have this control group that doesn't have a stutter to develop a stutter when they are consistently shamed and spoken negatively to. So basically that's what happened. For months and months and months on end, these children would be taken into 2 separate rooms. The ones that did have a stutter, were given regular treatment, spoken positively to, and the ones that didn't were quite literally psychologically damaged this entire time. Some of them developed a stutter and others just stopped speaking altogether and had just ongoing trauma from that. Mind you, little babies, little kids who had no one to advocate for them. It's actually terrifying. Okay, so at this point, the case is buried for 50 years. Then come the early